But she worked for a company that actually prohibited her, and by the way, right now, because we don't have the Paycheck Fairness Act, right now this is completely legal, she worked for a company that prohibited her from talking about her salary and could have fired her if she did. So I would love it, Lilly, if you're willing, to come up and talk a little bit about how your situation might have been different had you been able to discuss your salary, and also your experience with salary negotiations, just in some of the stuff that we talked about today, moving forward, that if we're able to get some of these things in place in terms of empowering women to negotiate and prohibiting employers from retaliating against women who want to discuss wages at work, how that might have changed things for you and how that might improve things for women moving forward.
Thank you. I don't turn down an opportunity to discuss how we can better ourselves in the workplace because, as Lisa and all of you know, this is why I've been so passionate to stay with this fight, because we women are so far behind. But at Goodyear, when I hired in, went through the HR, filled out my paperwork, my withholding statements, the secretary instructed me that if I planned on a long career at Goodyear, I would never discuss my pay with anyone. And then I was on a training program initially with 4 other people that were new to the management program at Goodyear in Gadsden. And the trainer called each one of us in and told each one of us one-on-one, do not discuss your pay, your starting pay, with anyone, including the HR man. Now that always bothered me, but you know, who was I? I'm new. I've just agreed to accept this job, leaving a good job, and here I am. Why should I start bringing up why you don't even tell the HR man? Now that always bothered me, and I still don't know today why I got that instructions. But throughout my career, no matter what manager I worked for above me, it was never discussed about wages. And cost of living, as you know, changes. So the bottom, the mid, and the top would change quite frequently through the years. And as it changed, I never knew from the time I hired in what the bottom, the mid, and the top was. I asked quite often because I'd read in my papers and the news media would announce it, cost of living going up. So I would ask, never a straight answer. I would inquire with some of my coworkers and they wouldn't discuss it because everybody wanted to stay employed. You did not discuss your pay. Now had it even, I know when testifying before the Senate, Tom Harkin talked to me about a bill he may bring on later that will force people to, employers to post their rates. Not necessarily what each person's paid, but at least you got an idea. And through the years, when I was below the minimum on my job, I would have known to go to equal employment and file a charge because I was hitting a deaf ear at Goodyear. From time to time, when we did get evaluated, I would inquire, what do I need to do in order to get even with or above my peers? Not saying that I knew I was even or below, but I assumed that based on the treatment that I got. There was never any discussion about it. They never discussed it. And usually after I would really get into the, what I call the hard negotiation, to sort of try to give them a little bit of an ultimatum, you know, let's do this, I know this, I would get retaliated against. Then the memos would start coming out, boys and lady, and I was the only female. So that's another discriminatory act. And then I'd have to say, you know, there is a woman here. I don't know if you know that. And then I'd get oftentimes retaliated against again. So you have no leverage without this paycheck fairness. The paycheck fairness would have offered more protection. It would have allowed me to ask a coworker what they're making. And it would have allowed me to discuss it, and I would have been protected from retaliation. It's very, very difficult when you're in a situation and employers are controlling it and they mean to stay in control. It's very hard. Along the lines, I was thinking while Lisa was speaking a while ago, and this really is not about pay negotiations, but a few weeks ago I saw headlines in the paper where it said the first African-American woman heads up Fortune 500 company. And I wondered, in 2009, why is that news? Well, you and I know it's probably the only one, and ladies, we're far behind.
Thank you, Lily.